Why does the Wall Street Journal keep talking about real estate in Hilton Head? I'm Chip Collins. I'm joined with Chris Sanders here at Collins Group Realty, and we're going to talk about the latest article that they brought to light here in August 2022. So the Wall Street Journal keeps talking about real estate in Hilton Head. It's fascinating. Back in April, they actually featured a client of ours in the mansion section of the Wall Street Journal. They talked about how clients are favoring what they called lagoons, but what they really meant was non-ocean front property that's on the water, deep water property around the Hilton Head area, etc. And it was a really great feature. And now they basically picked on Hilton Head again in a positive way, Chris, and they're talking about why so many people are flocking to the Hilton Head market with big money. We're talking about $1 million plus properties that they're purchasing as primary residence, as second homes, as investment properties, etc. And we thought, let's highlight that a little bit, because obviously it's great to get press about the low country marketplace, but also kind of good to go ahead and acknowledge what's happening in the high-end market. So Chris, what's the data tell you over the last year, 2 years, what's been happening on the higher end side of the market, recognizing high end? What does that mean? Basically, the average sales price in our marketplace has risen to about $700,000. So you're still talking about another maybe 50% more to get to that $1 million mark. And we know that's not even the ceiling for our market. What are you seeing?
Well, it's no surprise that the Wall Street Journal picked up on that, because we've blown it out of the water for what we've seen this market do. I mean, we have accomplished in the first 8 months of 2022 what it used to take 4 years pre-pandemic to do.
You're talking about over $1 million sales?
Correct.
Chip, let's look at it this way. Pre-pandemic, we were averaging around 17 sales per month over $1 million. And here recently, if you look at 2021 and so far in 2022, that number has increased to 73 sales per month in excess of $1 million. A huge jump that took place after the pandemic.
In 2022, we had the highest sale on record, over $10 million for an oceanfront house over in Sea Pines. That's not happened before.
Right.
And so that's pretty exciting. And this is the second year in a row that's happened, that we've had this kind of tracking, this kind of pace of $1 million plus sales.
So not only did the market bring a lot of buyers, but it brought a lot of money. And I remember, over the last couple of years, it was cash deal after cash deal after cash deal. So it's not like people are necessarily borrowing big money. They're just bringing cash to the table.
That's right. They're bringing a lot of cash to the table. We're seeing more cash deals than ever before, and all in this upper tier market. And it's not even taking as long for these houses to sell. This upper tier market, they're moving inventory relatively quickly.
So it's people that when they see it and they want it, they buy it, they've got the money, etc. And the article also talked about flocking from other locations, right? That was the whole point. And we've probably had 29, 30 states represented in terms of buyers coming to this market just within our group this year. And I think that the point is that there are some higher dollar average price point locations where people are basically saying, we want to relocate. So they sell out of California, they sell out of New York City, they're banking a bunch of money, and they come here, and $1 million to them is not that much money. And then all of a sudden what they get is incredible.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating is if you look at that market before the last couple years, I mean, maybe 25 or so communities were attracting these $1 million plus purchases.
Right.
You know what it is now? It's over 50. So there's 50 different markets. There's 50 different communities, more than that actually now, where people are spending more than $1 million on real estate.
Right. So not only do buyers have more options, but all the price points have come up where all of a sudden $1 million is applicable in a lot more different locations.
Absolutely.
And so, the other issue we're tracking in the marketplace, so we talk about the people that can afford the big dollar stuff, but then the other side of the spectrum, the other bookend of the market, if you will, is affordable housing, right? Like workforce housing. So what's the latest news, if we're talking about the news in the marketplace, what's the latest news on that here in the market?
Well, workforce housing is a big topic, and the town is doing, I think, they're really stepping up to try and to handle that need that we have here locally. And they have acquired a 13-acre tract down where Business 278 and the Expressway come together, and they want to put some workforce housing there. They're looking at developers right now to try and get that project started. It's very similar to a project that Sea Pines did towards the circle there for their workforce.
The Sea Pines Resort, I saw that, developed there along Palmetto Bay Road. Basically, they created their own workforce housing to create affordable housing for those folks and also to make it more convenient for people to get to work and be able to be responsive to work, etc. I think I saw a statistic, it was like 14,000 people are coming onto the island to support the resort and the workforce needs on a daily basis. And as these average price points go up, it makes it much harder to be able to live on the island. So I think it's really compelling, and I think it's fascinating that the town is basically going at this topic now and saying, we got to do something about this. So we're going to be looking for how that develops probably over the next year or so, right?
Yes.
So anyway, that's kind of what's happening in the market as of this week. We always appreciate your interest in it. Those are the bookends, the high end and the lower end of the marketplace. And appreciate your interest. We look forward to bringing you the next update next week.